We can go ahead and start. I want to be honorable of everybody's time and appreciate you all attending the spring state PAC meeting. And we have two fabulous guest speakers today for you guys on some topics that when we polled the parents and asked the local PAC meetings to ask what were some interesting topics for you all that you would all like to know about. What Mr. Martinez and what Ms. Calvin will be speaking on today were some of the topics that were listed. So hopefully it'll be of interest to you all. Just some meeting reminders and kind of housekeeping type things. As Jeremy mentioned, to remember to mute your microphone unless speaking, because sometimes there's some background noise or things like that that come on and it's hard to hear what the speaker is saying. But if you do have a question, you can unmute yourself or use the chat box will be great. And I'll try to keep an eye on the chat box and field questions for you as the two speakers are speaking. So definitely use the chat box. Let's see here. Just to let you all know that both guests' PowerPoints as well as this presentation will be available on our Title I Part C Migrant webpage on the State Department's webpage. And so those will be available for future use as you need. And just a reminder that this session is being recorded, so everyone will know. And just to let you know too, a heads up, our next state PAC meeting is scheduled for May 13th at 1:30 p.m. And that would be the time that you all would elect your next state PAC officers. So kind of be thinking about that at the local level, who you would like to nominate or who would be interested in serving at the state level in the PAC meetings. So that's our next meeting coming up. And so those are just kind of some housekeeping reminder things. And I wanted to also welcome you on behalf of State Superintendent Joy Hoffmeister. We'd like to welcome you to the spring state PAC meeting. If the state PAC officers are available or the president available on this call, would you please open the meeting? And you can do that by clicking the unmute button on your end if any of the officers are available. And if not, we'll move on and go ahead with the meeting. And we also want to say a big shout out thank you to Jeremy Irons for being part of the call. He is here at our audiovisual support specialist in the event office here at the State Department. He's kind of fielding the technical questions and any difficulties or questions related to Zoom if you all have any. So with that being said, our first presenter that we have is Mr. Jorge Martinez. He's Executive Director from Oro Development Corporation, and they provide job training and placement and services and resources for migrant and seasonal farm workers, as well as a new HEP high school equivalency program grant that they were allowed. So with that, Mr. Martinez, if you're ready, you can share your screen.
Okay, thank you, Erin. That was very nice. Can you hear me? Okay, to do the PowerPoint presentation again, do I need to hit that little green button again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, just for my sake, can y'all see the first screen, the first slide?
Yes.
You can? Okay, great. Like Erin said, I'm Jorge Martinez. I'm the Executive Director for Oro Development Corporation. We have been in Oklahoma doing business with farm workers, oh man, for a long time. Basically in 1971 is when the program started. And I haven't been with them since then. I started in 1975, so I've been with them a long, long time. But anyway, we've provided all kinds of services to farm workers, and we're continuing that service even now. The most current grant that we have right now is a high school equivalency program, and for short, I'm sure everybody's familiar with it. It's called HEP, High School Equivalency Program, and it's fairly new to us, and we're learning as we go along. But some of the things we do are we assist young people that are not enrolled in any school and do not have a high school diploma and are at least 16 years of age and older. And we can enroll them into our program. We don't have a specified location in the state. We work with the adult educational centers across the state, and we provide them that service at those places. The HEP program itself across the country helps about 5,000 students per year. It is a funded organization by the U.S. Department of Education, and our funds come directly from Washington, D.C. We have services. I didn't put any money figures in there, and maybe I can for later on. If you're going to share this, Aaron, later on I can. But for now, I'll just tell y'all what the funds are for these services, if y'all want to know. We do pay for exam fees for the students when they're going in for an exam, and we can help up to $136 of that. If it's higher, it would require executive approval, and of course, a lot of times we'll do it. We'll do whatever we have to do to help. Excuse me, to help the student out. For books and supplies and other materials, we have a budget, and we did not split it up because in different parts of the state, it costs different. But we did allow about $400 per student for supplies. The health services includes eye exams and glasses, or as they need it, in order to continue on with their classes in school, to get their GED. We can help with that up to $100 for the students. And again, that's just something to go by. It's going to be maybe higher than that. And not all the students need glasses. So our goal is to help 50 students across the state. Maybe only 10 need it. So we can take that figure a lot higher than what it is, than what I'm telling you, $100. We do provide a stipend for them. I'm sorry. We do provide a monthly stipend to them while they're still going to school and before they get their GED. This is a stipend that goes to them monthly. So if they're in the program for 4 months, it's $400. If they're in the program for 6 months, that's $600, you know, and it's not much, but at least it'll put a little bit of gas in their car, or maybe get a pack of gum or something, you know, whatever they need to do to get by. On the fuel assistance, it's only to get to the testing or to get to the centers. We don't provide gas on Fridays and on the weekends, all that kind of stuff. We can help up to $120 on that. And again, if they're in the program longer, the services may be more frequent. So there again, it may be $30 a pop to get to the centers. Maybe they need to test twice. Maybe they failed the first time. The last bullet is a comprehensive and specialized consultation with students to develop an IEP. That is developed with the case managers and what we call the recruiters. And they sit down with the student at the very beginning and devise that form or that plan. We have a recruitment process that's done by the ORO case managers. The NFJP ORO case managers is one part of this program. They also recruit along with the HEP recruiters. So there's all kinds of people out there trying to find students for the program. We do offer placement, of course, after they graduate. If they get a GED and they're going to continue on to college, we can assist in that field too. If they want to go to a technology center and learn a skill, we can then enroll them into the ORO NFJP program and pay a tuition for them to go there so they can learn the skill. We can do a job placement after they graduate with credentials from that skill. And if they do not go to a technology center, we can then refer them to the Workforce Center, the Oklahoma Employment Security Commission, the one-stop centers, wherever they're located, closer to them. If they choose not to do any of that, they can go into the military or higher education. They need to do something, and that is the goal of HEP, not just only to get a GED, but also to move forward and do something with their lives. A lot of them already know what they want to do. I've seen some of these IEPs that they develop, and they, maybe on the next time I'll bring you some of those letters that they write about what they want to do with their lives. So it's pretty well cut and dry as to what they want to do. Very, very touching letters a lot of times, because they know that they have to do something with their lives. And I'm sure a lot of you probably want to know about the eligibility. It's 75 days during the past 24 months from the date that they enroll, of course. And it's 75 days during that 2-year period. They don't have to be in a row. They can be, you know, at random days, as long as it's 75 days, and we can document those 75 days. They must be a migrant or a seasonal farm worker, and have been out there in the fields doing farm work. There's a couple of things that are listed on there on the PowerPoint. It's production of crops, dairy, poultry, or livestock. All those are wide range descriptions, and it would take the recruiter or the ORO case manager to break that down to find out if they, in fact, would qualify. Just by simply saying, I work in the field, and they think they're in, they may not. So most of them are. We want them in there. Like I said a few minutes ago, they have not earned a diploma or an equivalent, and they need one, and that's the first thing to qualifying for the program. Must be at least 16 years of age and older. We put a couple of pictures in here of for motivational purposes when they see these PowerPoints, and we go around the state presenting these PowerPoints. Paula put these these pictures in here to kind of show that they went from the field doing field work. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I was a field worker myself, and I'm very proud to say that I was. They are too, I'm sure. So if they are a field worker, and they can go from there to graduating from college, graduating by GED. And that would make them and their families very proud to do that. If anybody wants to get in touch with any of our case managers or recruiters, we have the locations listed in the last slide of this presentation. That concludes my presentation, Erin. Thank you very much. Any questions?
George, there was a question in the chat box, just so that everybody will get the information. They may not be looking at the chat box.
Okay.
Polly in Tahlequah had a question on if the PEP students take the GED exam in Spanish, or is the instruction and test only given in English?
That's a good question. I haven't had that question before. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say it has to be done in English, but I can find out for sure.
Okay. One response from a fellow migrant director in Guyman said that she thought the Tri-State HEP gives the instruction test and test in Spanish. So that may be something to check into.
Yeah, good question.
Great. Is there any more questions for Mr. Martinez about ORO development or the HEP program?
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Martinez.
You're welcome.
We'll switch it over to Bennie Calvin and get her to share her screen. And she again is with the director of the Farm Worker Health Program with Variety Care, the Big Pasture Health Center. So she's going to speak about her health program with farm workers.
Hello, everyone. Bear with me one moment. Okay, if I could have the the tech assist me. I have my PowerPoint, but I don't know how to fix it to the share screen. Do I drag it on there?
No, you'll actually just click the share icon. And when you do that, it'll pull up which window that you're wanting to share.
Oh, gotcha. It appears that it's doing something, so.
Yeah, yep, we can view your PowerPoint.
Okay, super. Thank you. Well, thank you very much to the organizers for inviting me here today, and thank you to all the attending this Zoom session. I am Bennie Calvin, the director to Variety Care Farm Worker Health Program. I too am product of a migrant and seasonal farm worker. Did it for many years. I am blessed to have the opportunity to work with a firm that allows me the opportunity to assist a unique and vulnerable special population, which is the farm worker. I read this quote and I found it worthy to share with you. It reads, "The hands that feed us are often invisible hands. Hands of people who work in the shadows of a multi-billion-dollar industry without enjoying its rewards." One more thing that I would like to share before I talk about the Farm Worker Health Program. On April 2nd, 2020, the New York Times published an article written by Miriam Jordan. The article revealed how undocumented farm workers have now become essential during this pandemic. While more states continue to enforce stay-at-home directives, the farm workers have been encouraged to still work to maintain America's food supply. Many have been provided letters from the federal government advising local officials of the essential role they play in the fabric of our country. On a personal note, I am so grateful for you all that strive in providing supportive services to the rural population in the farm worker sector who find themselves and the farm workers who find themselves in the ironic dual label essential and illegal, all in the one same condition during this pandemic. So according to the National Center for Farm Worker Health, it is estimated that there are over 2.53 million agricultural workers in the United States. These agricultural workers travel throughout the United States, serving as a backbone for a multi-billion-dollar agricultural industry within the population. 16% have been identified as migrating, while 84% are seasonal agricultural workers. Now, going on to the PowerPoint, I'm going to move on to slide 2. So Variety Care assumed the responsibility for the Migrant and Seasonal Farm Worker Program in 2001 and has since operated it with great success. We are a nonprofit federally qualified health center and receive funds from HRSA to operate the Migrant and Seasonal Farm Worker Health Program. The next slide tells a little bit of a history. The program, funded by the HRSA, a branch of the United States Department of Health and Human Services, provides medical, dental, vision, and pharmacy services to program participants. The program is available to migrant and seasonal farm workers from other countries regardless to their immigration or legal status. And that's very important because not only do we serve a very special population, but this program is very unique as it services both immigration, illegal or documented and non-documented individuals. With this, on this slide, I want to mention that the Frederick migrant program and for the Frederick schools were able to send, and I'm going to estimate because I don't have the actual numbers on me written anywhere, but I believe 16 individuals that utilized our dental service at the Straka location in Oklahoma City. And as I followed up to make sure that they were satisfied, they all received the services that they needed. They received medication, and they were happy. And the most important thing is that there was no pending balance because as I will share with you here in a little bit, the Farm Worker Health Program has contracts with all variety care sites, and there's also some non-variety care sites. But the variety care sites have a sliding fee scale, which is an additional payment supplement assistance to the patient participant. So I thought that I would share that with you while we were on that slide. Going to slide 4. There are 166 federally funded migrant health center entities, but all 15, which are jointly funded community and migrant health centers, and those 15 are generally known as voucher programs. And on slide 5, I went ahead and scanned in a voucher because not a lot of people are used to the voucher system. It is a more tangible collection a lot of times because we are more into the PayPal or electronical method. We still operate in the voucher system. So that's what a voucher looks like when a participant needs to go obtain service from one of our providers' facilities. They'll be provided a voucher, and that right there allows their service to be given. Going on to slide 6. Who is eligible? Primarily employed in agricultural work within the last 2 years, making up a significant portion of a permanent job or as a full-time seasonal job. And what that is, agricultural workers cannot be self-employed. Patient completion of a status verification for migrant, seasonal, homeless, public housing, veterans, etc. Patient must provide verification of insurance or income status if uninsured. So if they are insured, they can still enroll, but we'd like to utilize all of the funds available. Family members of the agricultural worker, broadly defined as immediate family, mother, father, son, daughter, inclusive also of extended family, grandparents, domestic parents, common law relationships, and extended family living together. This is very, very unique as well because we have situations where families will travel together because of the income status. They're not able to all have individual homes, so they live together. So what our program allows us to do is to go ahead and if they live in the same home and it can be proven, and it does, it becomes proven, then they all qualify under the head of household that is doing the agricultural farm work. And the sliding fee that I mentioned a while ago, this is a scale that is in place with all the variety care sites, not a scale in place with non-variety care sites with whom we have a contract with. We do accept Sooner, Medicare, and many other insurance for people who do not have insurance. We determine the cost of the office visit based on household income and number of people in the household. Something that is not added to the slide, and I had made myself a note, was the poverty income guideline has to be 200% or lower, and lower. So that's what the percentage determination is on that. Slide 8 is the services that we provide. The purpose of this program is to assure access to primary health care for low income and medically underserved migratory and seasonal farm workers and their immediate families. To address the serious health needs of these workers and their family, the program will provide vouchers, as mentioned earlier, for the following services: medical, and we do have a behavioral health, dental, vision, x-ray, and pharmacy. And we have also, we are working on getting a dental site in Fort Cobb. That way the individuals don't have to travel all the way to Oklahoma City for those services. And we are also opening up a clinic in Anadarko. That there's a large population that of migrant seasonal workers in Chickasha, and so that way they can go to that medical site. Let's see, I think I've got a little footnote here. Nope, okay, so slide number 9 is the frequently asked questions. Some of the sample questions to identify agricultural workers or dependents. And I think I'm just gonna reread that only because I feel that sometimes it gets asked a lot. In the last 2 years, what we typically ask the individuals: have you or anyone in your family worked in any type of agricultural, like planting, picking, preparing the soil, packing house, driving a truck for any type of farm work, working with farm animals such as cows, chickens, even if they do agricultural maintenance. And if they say yes, then that helps qualify them. A lot of the times, someone may say, well, I just mend a fence, and so I don't do no farm work. I don't, they don't get out in the field. All they do is, there's some properties that are very huge, so they have to have someone that just is designated for the fence mending. And so when we ask all these, when we try to provide the breakdown, we really try to help the individuals identifying their agricultural responsibility so they can become eligible. Number 2, in the last 2 years, have you or a member of your family lived away from home in order to work in any type of agricultural farm work? Number 3, have you or any member of your family stopped migrating to work in agricultural because of a disability or age? That is something that's very unique to our program as well. According to the HRSA guidelines, if the individual stopped doing migratory work due to disability or age, but in the migratory component, then they qualify for a lifetime of agricultural benefits with our health centers. So it doesn't just end because they ended their migratory season, but it has to be disability or aged condition. On slide 10, agricultural workers and dependents, migratory section, an individual who establishes a temporary home for the purposes of such seasonal employment, including aged or disabled former agricultural workers. A seasonal, an individual who does not establish a temporary home for the purpose of seasonal employment. and the status must be verified at least every 2 years. Slide 11. The service area for this program it is the southern half of Oklahoma, following Interstate 40 from the Texas border to the Arkansas border and everything south of Interstate 40. So it makes it difficult for some to drive from areas that are not in our region, but because the services are good, the savings is fabulous, it makes it worth the trip. So we do have other individuals that live outside this coverage area that have maybe attended one of our outreach programs, and so they're willing to make that drive to receive the benefits, and I'm very thankful that we're able to assist them with that. On slide 12, what the program does not pay. And this is very important because I often get calls from Jackson Memorial Hospital or Comanche Memorial Hospital, and they're informing me that they have certain patients at their hospital, so I need to provide them with insurance information. Well, we're not an insurance program. We are a supportive service program with limited funding towards different components. So hospitalization or inpatient services are something that we do not pay for. Emergency room services not provided under an agreement of an access point. We do have an access clinic in Oklahoma City at the Straka location. And because of the demand, now it's in operation 7 days a week. And that has been very helpful. I've had to use it. One Sunday morning, I woke up and I was all colorful. I had broke out with something. And so, and it was on a Sunday morning. So we were able to make the drive and they were able to assist. So as I was waiting there were some individuals that worked at the dairy that were there. And so that was, I feel, one of those moments meant to be, that I needed to be there and be able to witness that, because we want to have our services available for everyone to use. Number 3, extensive treatment or unnecessary treatment, we do not pay. Diagnostic testing, aside from x-ray, because we do pay for x-ray, and we do pay for lab services, injections. Number 5, in-home care or in-home care supplies, we do not pay for. But what we do provide a service in the in-home care is we may have a disabled or aged migratory worker that may be homebound and is experiencing symptoms that requires a provider to go to their home for a home visit. As long as all of the HIPAA protective measures are in place, then the services can go ahead and be, there can be payment made toward that visit. Number 6, extensive dental services beyond basic dental care, we do not pay. And that is, all of our dental services is provided at the Oklahoma City sites. It's $100 per service per day. And that's not a whole lot when you're doing dental services. So because we have the sliding fee scale, that also deducts a certain percentage off of the bill. And then we also, because they are in Oklahoma City, We also have United Way that helps assist in some of the funding. So, and then they also have other programs that they have in place to help contribute to the total balance. So that is a huge savings for the migratory and seasonal population. And number 7, other services which exceed the parameters of the program, we do not provide assistance with. Something that I wanted to share was a breakdown of the services that we do provide. So with vision, we assist with vision, dental, medical, pharmacy, and every one of those components are all at $100 per visit, and the dental and the vision are with limited services, times of services. So dental can only have 3 services per year. Vision can have 2 services per year. But with this, the second service has to be something that the doctor has informed us that it's maybe there was a misdiagnosed, but it has to be a recommendation from a physician. So that, but typically it would be 1, but we've gone ahead and allowed 2 in our breakdown for those purposes. But when you have the medical, the lab are both, they don't have any restrictions. So if you have an individual that is ill on Monday and he or she utilized $100 for that day for that service, but come Thursday, it seems like it's not going, whatever, there's no productive healing and needs to revisit the physician or the provider, and he comes back on Thursday, even though it's in the same week, there's no restrictions or limitations on the medical visits or the lab visits. So if they need to do labs again, they can do that. There is a limit on x-ray. There's only 2 x-rays per year. But overall, I think that we do a very good job in making services available and providing services that are payable. Those that have insurance or Medicaid, a lot of the times, even though they do have Medicaid, sometimes the copay doesn't get paid. So the farm worker program is able to go in there and pay that, and alleviating that stress of payment for the patient. Also, we have Sooner Care, and even though it may pay a large percentage, we have found that there are times where maybe their usage has been met, or there is a procedure that that procedure has already been surpassed, so they have to pay out of pocket. And because they are either migratory or seasonal farm workers, we're able to go in and assist. And we also, as far as, well, that's going to conclude this slide presentation, but I do want to share a little bit about the outreach program efforts that we also do throughout the year. We go out to the dairies, we go out to the watermelon plants, out to the sweet potato plants, the peanut plants. Oklahoma, it has such a rich array of goods that are out in our fields. And I'm very proud of all of our farmers that grow these crops and we have a wide range of crops. And so we're able to go out to the sites and visit with them. And because these federal funded programs are sometimes too good to be true, and we're able to provide a comfort and measure by providing an explanation, providing a breakdown of the program. We do it both in English and Spanish. I am bilingual. I can read and write and speak it, and I always like to joke around and say that I can eat it too. But I really am so happy that we're able to go out there, present them with material, English and in Spanish. We also have a booklet that we hand out, and it has all 49, I believe it's 49 states, because I don't think we have anything in Hawaii, but well, it's a booklet, holds all of our states with HRSA funded programs so when they migrate and they leave Texas, they leave Oklahoma, they go on up to Iowa, they're able to look at the booklet and see where it is that they need to go to obtain medical services. And I have to say that that's probably one of my best steps when their face just illuminates. To me, I feel like I leave them with some hope to know that we didn't just service you in Oklahoma. We also paved some way for you to go to Iowa, go to Nebraska, and we left you with a booklet to help you. And I always, sometimes when they return back the next year, they call it the Oklahoma book. I still have the Oklahoma book, and that really makes me happy because Oklahoma really is being effective. And I believe that that's all that I have. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Bernie, we do have a question on how do we get a hold of those booklets? Is there a link that you can send to me? I could put on our website or send out to our directors, or is it electronic?
I can certainly get our IT department to get that to you.
Great.
And then we can get that on there. That's a good question.
Wonderful. I'd love to share that with our directors to get to the parents, as well as put it on our website.
I do have one more thing. I had a note here. So I noticed that I did not add it to my slides. So I wanted to provide you with my mobile number in case you ever need it, ever give it to anyone. And what is so handy is no matter if I'm out in the field or in the office or on vacation, I always get all the information on my mobile. So I'm able to approve an application or registration. I'm able to confirm eligibility registrations with providers. And with everyone present right now, if you have a family that you think could qualify and maybe you'd rather they speak to me, I encourage you to hand out either one of these phone numbers. So my mobile number is 405-226-2238. And because we're not in the office right now, but we will be soon, the office number line always gets, I have a really good clerk, and her name is Kathy, and she will be answering this telephone line. It's Kathy Rivas, R-I-V-A-S. And the telephone number is 580-479-3454. And again, thank you very much.
thank you again for both of our speakers, Mr. Martinez and Ms. Calvin, for presenting today. Again, these are things that were feedback from our parent surveys that we asked for some ideas of local ideas and topics and things that your parents were interested in, and these were two of those subjects. So we're going to be starting to work down some of those ideas that you have and connecting speakers and resources in with what your parents and local migrant programs are interested in. And just again, we did some reminders at the beginning of the meeting, but just a couple more rehashing those two things. Both PowerPoints as well as the recording of this presentation will be available on our website soon. And then also a reminder of our next state PAC meeting, May 13th at 1:30. That will be the election of officers times for you guys. And so be thinking about who at the local level for parents or directors that you would like to nominate or start talking to being at the state PAC meeting election. For again, that's May 13th at 1:30 is the next state PAC meeting. So again, want to thank you for George and Bernie's presentations today and for your participation. And we would like to conclude our meeting. If there's any more questions for the speakers or anything, just put it in the chat box. Other than that, or you can email them to me and I can forward it to them. But other than that, we appreciate your time today. And it's good to see everybody's faces. I've missed everybody. So thank you very much for participating. Have a good day.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Aaron, it's Jeremy. Would you like for me to go ahead and end this meeting, or do you want me to keep it going for a little bit?
In, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your help today. I appreciate it.
Of course. Have a great day.
Thank you.